Hello guys, and welcome to my brand new video. Today I will be previewing and giving my own opinion on what today's game against Mexico versus the United States, the big one, to see who will be going to the Confederation Cup. And it will be one heck of a game. As you guys can see, the Gold Cup final finale. As you guys know, the USA won the 2013 Gold Cup, and now Mexico won the 2015 Gold Cup. So now it's gonna be an important game to see which one of those two goes on to represent CONCACAF in the Confederation Cup. As you guys see, Rafa Marquez right there, gonna be the captain of this Mexico squad. And as the national anthems are about to play right now, let me give you a little bit of a prediction what I think might happen. I think this game is going to be a very, very close game indeed. Both teams are not coming looking their strongest. Mexico coming off with the firing of Miguel Herrera, and just getting El Tuca Ferretti, trying to get him to just fill in these last couple of games before Osorio comes in and takes charge. Jurgen, on the other hand, has a real development process that he's going through right now, trying to get this U.S. men's national team to really just push forward and be that United States team that he really wants it to be. So it's gonna be interesting to see how these two coaches come in, especially the environment's gonna be impressive. But here's the starting 11, and this is most likely the formation that they will use. It'll be a 5-2 and 3 up top with Aguilar and Layun on the wings, with Reyes, Moreno, and Marquez in the midfield as the defenders, and up top it's going to be Raúl Jiménez, Oribe Peralta, and Chicharito Hernandez. So that should be pretty interesting. Now for the United States, it does look like Brad Guzan is going to start ahead of Tim Howard. I'm putting Yetlen right there on the right hand side of the pitch, because I feel like Jurgen might want to use him there in the first half, maybe sub him off if he's not really making that big of an impact. And of course Josie and Clint Dempsey up top going to be their threat. So I guess really the main players to watch here for Mexico definitely have to be Chicharito Hernandez. He's coming into a formation that's probably not going to suit him as well, because Oribe Peralta probably will be the point, just because he seems more of a better center forward than Chicharito is. Since Chicharito has more pace than Oribe Peralta and he has a little bit more width to his game, he most likely will play in that right forward position if Tuca Ferretti does end up playing with 3 up top. But it most likely does look that way. ESPN Deportes looks like they confirmed the formation not so long ago, yesterday. So we'll probably have to wait and see if this is true. But it would be pretty impressive and pretty interesting to see how this Mexico squad will challenge this American team with 3 up top. Now for the United States, I think the player to watch is Brad Guzan. So much pressure under him, especially since Tim Howard is on the bench. He's looking upon to see how he does. And it's important that Brad Guzan comes off with a couple of good saves. As you guys will see in this game, he does a couple of good ones right here to boost up his confidence. And hopefully he can get something going for him. But I think the strengths of these two teams are going to be crucial factors in either one of these two teams winning. So I'm going to start off with Mexico. Their biggest strength is definitely going to be their set pieces. They finally have three very good height players in defense with Rafa Marquez, Diego Reyes, and Hector Moreno. So those set pieces are going to be important for them to defend as well as to try to score on. And I think the most offensive player and the most creative player they probably will leave on the bench with El Tecatito Corona. So hopefully he can start. If not, hopefully he can come into the second half and really make that impact all Mexico is trying to see. But the biggest weakness is going to be in the midfield of the park. Not because they have weak players there, because I feel like they're lacking a lot of width, and as well as width. I feel like the United States, with that diamond formation, is just going to run rampage to the midfield against Mexico. So it's not going to be a pretty good thing for the national team of Mexico to play with two only center mids. But they've obviously been training for this. They've obviously have some tactics going on. So hopefully Maybe Rafa Marquez at times can push up and be that center defensive mid that they're probably lacking. But if they do play with three up top, that does leave a pretty big gap in the midfield, and I feel like the U.S. will exploit that very heavily. And I think Jorgen is excited to see if he does, because that is, like I said, a big gap. So we're gonna move on to the U.S. men's national team. I think that right hand side is gonna be their biggest strength of the match. You got the likes of Johnson and Yedlin, two fast players, especially Yedlin. The runs he makes up the pitch are gonna be important to this U.S. men's national team, as well as Yedlin, trying to find Dempsey or Altidore, and it's gonna be a little difficult for those two strikers to win any aerial balls, but it is possible. And they do have a very good poaching goal threat, both Josie and Clint. So we're gonna have to wait and see exactly how that ends up going for the strikers. The biggest weakness, I would have to say, is gonna be the central partnership of possibility Ventura Varado and either Jeff Cameron or Beasley. Beasley, right? I'm not so sure. But it's a partnership that doesn't seem to be the strongest one. It doesn't seem to be like the one to gel. I would have to say the weakest link right there would have to be Ventura Alvarado, which, funny enough, being me, Americanista, would love to see this youngster, this kid, really prove himself in the U.S. men's national team. I think he can be a definite starter and really just push forward to be that center back that he can be. But I feel like it's going to be a little difficult for him in this game, especially with the likes of Chicharito and Raul Jimenez going off, using their pace. But we'll have to wait and see. But I do feel like the weakness that the U.S. men's national team is going to have is definitely going to be that center back partnership. But hopefully, they can sort that thing out, and hopefully by then, their confidence is looming large. But I've talked about the weaknesses and I've talked about the strengths. Now let me talk about which team is most likely favorite. They are going to play in California, sunny California, in Pasadena at the Rose Bowl. And, it's going to be a game around 6 p.m. Pacific time. So it's going to be a game where the sun is still a little bit out. It's still going to be very warm in California. But we'll have to wait and see if that really affects the players or not. The heat can sometimes play a big role in this game. Luckily enough, by the time the players get towards the end of the first half, the sun most likely would have gone down by now. But we'll have to wait and see. But, coming into this game, 4 years ago when Mexico beat the U.S. right here 3-2 in Pasadena, it was mostly a Mexican-based fan, but I feel like this game is going to go very 50-50 in the crowd-wise. I feel like the game has grown a lot here in the United States. I feel like more Americans pay attention to their own national team, and they're really looking forward to support them. So I think it's going to be more of an equal base. I still feel like Mexico's going to have that home advantage, of course. I feel like it's going to be just by a little bit though, way more Mexicans than Americans, but we'll have to wait and see. So that in itself is going to be an own game to be played in the stands. So that's going to be important to see, and hopefully we can get something really, really amazing. But we're going to have to wait and see. But I feel like Mexico is for, at the moment, the way everything's going, the way everything's looking, they're going to be the favorites for today. It looks like they're coming in just a little bit, I wouldn't say stronger. I just feel like they're coming in a little bit more favorites. A lot of people back their money for them to get the victory here, and I would have to say I'm leaning towards a Mexico victory. Now I'm not gonna say they're gonna win by 3 goals or more. No, I feel like this game's gonna be so tough. It's gonna go down to the last whistle possible. I feel like it's gonna be a close margin, and it's definitely not gonna be the easiest game Mexico's ever played. I think we're finally gonna see one of the most balanced and one of the most toughest games of this America versus Mexico game. By America, I mean, of course, the United States. But it's going to be important to see how these two teams respond, not only to their fans, but to themselves, if they have the motivation and the courage. Reading some interviews and seeing some interviews on TV. You know, some of these players come very pumped, and some of these players come very determined to play a good game. You know, not so long I was seeing Michael Bradley get interviewed by Fox Sports, and you know, he said that these games are the ones that you look forward to. You know, the environment, everything that happens pre-game to everything. So it's gonna be important to see exactly what happens here. And you know, now that I talked about what happened on here, let me talk a little bit what happened on your screen right now. As you guys are seeing the gameplay of FIFA 16, I was playing as Mexico. It was a very, very tough game, just as I imagined the game will be in real life. You know, as you guys can see, we actually go all the way to extra times here. So I really do think this game is going to go all the way to the last whistle possible. So we're going to have to wait and find out to see. In this game, the U.S. came very strong, and they were very, very defensively organized. And in the midfield is where they dominated. Just like I said, you know, the U.S. will probably exploit Mexico, and if they do play with that 3 up top and only leaving 2 center midfielders, I feel like the U.S. will definitely run a rampage through there. But you know, this game was very fun to play with. You know, it's my first time playing with Mexico in FIFA 16, and it felt great. It was tough. I'm not gonna lie, it was tough. This U.S. team has been the toughest one I faced all FIFAs before. They just seem so much well balanced. I feel like Jorgen's really starting to find a team that can gel together and can really, you know, he can build a solid foundation from this team to really build upon that, and hopefully, you know, come even stronger than ever to the next World Cup. So I feel like the game is very, very much growing rapidly in the U.S., and I feel like Mexico really needs to start pushing up with their canteras. They really need to push up with the youngsters. I mean, look what happened with the U.S. In the World Cup. I mean, they did so much better than the Mexico in the under 17 or under 20s. I can't remember, but you know, unfortunately, you know, they weren't able to go that far. But it was very impressive what the U.S. did. And so hopefully Mexico can, you know, shadow in that, and you know, bring some more youngsters, because I feel like the youngsters are definitely the future. So hopefully Mexico will get something going. But you know, this game was really fun, and it was really intense, and it was really seeming to me how that game would really play out in real life. As you guys can see, we're literally at the last kick of the first half of extra time, and you know, nothing's really going because both teams are playing very well in the center of the midfield. But as you guys can see, Clint Dempsey with an absolute beauty going in the top upper corner. Munoz can't do anything about it. And they were winning 2-1 right there, and you know, I was like, you know, this is gonna be hard. It's gonna go on to the second half, and hopefully, you know, something can happen. As you guys can see on your screens right now, you know, I was gonna move a little bit of this formation, but I said, you know what, I'm gonna keep a little bit more, see what goes through. But I feel like this game that we're gonna see on Saturday is gonna be one to remember. I feel like there's gonna be a lot of excitement. There's gonna be a lot of a technical gameplay, you know, a lot of it is gonna be in the midfield, and whoever controls the midfield, which I feel like the U.S. might control it a little bit more than Mexico, is definitely gonna do better in the whole entire game. But I'm still edging for a Mexico victory. You know, I'll give you guys my prediction right now, since you know we're coming towards the end of this second half of extra time. I feel like Mexico are gonna win it, whether it is, you know, a late goal or whether it's a 2-1 victory in extra time. I feel like this game is just gonna go even that much further than anyone expects. I know a lot of Mexicans are really pushing for this team to win 3-4-0, and I don't see that happening. This squad, I'm not saying this squad isn't good enough to beat, you know, the United States 3-0. I'm just saying the United States are not, you know, that bad for Mexico to beat them 3-0. I feel like this United States team is much better. Like I've said before, you know, from previous U.S. teams, and I'm not trying to be all, you know, trying to defend the U.S., you know, trying to keep myself in that, you know, middle margin here. You know, I'm 100% Mexican, and I'm hoping for 100% Mexico victory, but I'm trying to be realistic, and I'm trying to see the facts and what football is definitely going to say on the pitch, and it's going to say that this U.S. team has grown. They did a very good campaign in the World Cup. They did a poor campaign in the Gold Cup, but they're coming in very hard, trying to win back the respect that they deserve. And you never know, they might come up with an upset, but hopefully not. You know, I feel a lot of people don't think as the Confederation Cup as much, but I do think it's a great warm-up to see exactly the environment that you're going to be playing in, the stadiums, just to get a good feel a year before. And I feel like that is definitely going to be something important that Mexico really needs to get going, especially if they want to get past that fifth game. And we're just gonna have to wait and find out to see right here. And as you guys can see, we're gonna go all the way to penalties. So this video is gonna be very, very long, unfortunately, for some of you guys who don't like long videos, but it has been pretty much entertaining if you guys have been watching. There's been some great goals. You guys saw the Tecatito goal, which was actually pretty impressive, the way he just maneuvered and shot and got it past Guzan. But now we're going to go into the penalties. Chicharito takes the first one and scores. Then we're going to see here that Suzy's going to, do a little dink over Munoz, and he's going to score. And now we're going to get Andres Guardado to take the shot. And, oh, Guzan saves. Very, very good palms of the hand. And, he gets that ball away from his net. And then we're going to see Bob Bradley take the shot. And, oh, Munoz knows that he's going right down the middle. Doesn't move. And Michael Bradley doesn't score. But then we see Vela miss again, and I'm thinking, no, these two that just missed are the key players to score a penalty, and if they're missing, that's not good. And then we're gonna see another one go straight down the middle. Up top, I move right before the shot, and unfortunately it doesn't go my way. And then you see Tecatito scoring and keeping Mexico alive. And now Munoz really needs to save this one. Let's see if he can do it. Nope, he can't. He stays still. Unfortunately, the ball did not go down the middle that time. And we're going to see Hector Moreno really needs to score this game, or else. Yep, he does score. That would have been the end of us if he didn't. Now we see Munoz really needs to start his penalty kick. Now can he do it? Now he's going up. He's going to take the shot. He's going down the middle again. And Munoz says, I'm calmly going to take that into my hands. Now we're going to see Rafa Marquez take a shot right here. Let's see what he can do. And oh, Brad Guzan guesses the right way, but he goes top. And unfortunately for the U.S., he doesn't save it. But now we're going to see Moises Munoz try to get something into this. Now can he block this one? Can he? Oh, he gets so close. And I mean literally close. And I thought I blocked it. But unfortunately it wasn't to be. And then we get another shot from Ache, and he puts that in the top corner. And now Beasley, can Beasley do it? Can he keep the United States alive? He's gonna take a shot, and Munoz down the middle. It does mean Mexico gets the victory. It does mean that they are winning in the penalty shootout, and they are going to the Confederation Cups. And I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I really feel like this game's gonna go to penalties. I feel like Mexico's just gonna edge it just close enough into those penalty shootouts, and hopefully I'm right. Hopefully that does mean that Mexico advanced to the Confederation Cup. As you guys see, Chicharito celebrating, and Beasley looking a little bit ashamed and disappointed in himself for missing that penalty kick. But it does look like a very good Mexico victory. It was a little tough in the game itself, but hopefully, this shadows a little bit of what's going to happen on the pitch in Pasadena, and hopefully Mexico gets those 3 points. Thank you guys for watching, and until next time, take care.